Skip up the bacchanal, we are the ones who make you jump, make you jump up and bounce. Working to make this fun and to bring the greatest summer festivity and yet the treated calypsonians and band like dirt.
Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. We are here. We're late, but we're here. Technical difficulties. It's been one of those afternoons. Welcome to We're the Ones. We're the Ones. By now, we all know what we are. We're the Ones, program for us, about us, by us, looking at issues that impact on us, issues that are varying in nature. Apologies, let me just get everything settled. Yes, I'm hoping you're hearing me. Okay, I think we've gotten most things settled this time. So I've said good afternoon already, and we are a little behind time, so we will get straight into our program today. For those of you who have been following us, you know that we have been dealing with a variety of issues relating to the economy, issues relating to our culture, issues relating to sports and the arts, entertainment, a little of everything. And so today we are back in, I should say, a little mix-up, but a good mix-up, because we're going to be discussing a little of the arts, a little of our culture in our first segment. With me today, we are expecting two other guests, but we are opening the batting with a maestro. He's going to tell me I'm going to say all kind of things about him that I shouldn't. Good afternoon, Mr. Curtis. Welcome to Point FM. Is this your first visit with us?
This is my first visit here at the station.
I hope you find our accommodations comfortable.
Looking good.
Mr. Curtis is with us today to discuss Hell's Gate. Now, our original intention was that we would have had the historian for the band, Mr. Stafford Joseph, with us online, but we're still experiencing some challenges to get that done. So we would have begun by delving into the history of the band, where it came from. We know where it originated. You know, we're right close to the belly of the beast, for want of a better word. But today, with Can, we're going to be looking present and future to start. We should be joined shortly, maybe, fingers crossed, by Mr. Varen Henry, one of the members of perhaps the longest standing family in Pan, at least in Antigua. I know persons don't think of it that way, but if he comes, we will deal with that. But for now, we are going to be speaking to Mr. Curtis. And I think one of the first things I'd like to ask Mr. Curtis is to just give us a brief, because if we have him do his Pan story, we'll probably have to have him for another session by himself. But I want him to give us a brief overview of his Pan story and link it right into the story of Hell's Gate that he is aware of.
There's really not much to say, you know.
Okay.
My Pan story started with Hell's Gate, and to present, it is still with Hell's Gate. When I started, we're in 2018, some 16 years ago. Is it 16? Somewhere around there, 2002. Peter, you're the mathematician. What give me?
I'm just thinking how old I was and no one to tell anybody, so carry on.
In 2002, just after finishing common entrance
16,
exam.
yeah.
Yeah,
But I feel old. Go ahead.
Same day I completed my common entrance exams. I remember following Amilcar, who was a little man Pell, his son, down to the Panya. I had no intentions of playing, but I just decided, hey, why not? Well, not so easily though. I remember there were a few people there. One in particular, there's one female there who was like, yes, you should come and play. And I remember saying, well, nah, that's okay. I didn't come here for that. Right, I mean, she was pretty and she kept, asking me. It's like, okay,
Pretty
well,
girls
fine,
rock.
fine. But that's one of the things I've always admired about Hell's Gate as well. When the young people do come around, they've always invited them. And we still do that up to today, invite them to come in. But, through the years, I would have just performed during the regular side, panorama side, so just in the summer. Um, After I got more interested in it, after being picked up by the administration at the Culture Development Division of Mr. Barbara Mason, more specifically, to join the National Youth Park Pan Orchestra, meeting the likes of Gavin Francis, and then going on to work with. In the meantime, I'm still working with Veron Henry, Devonton David, Stafford Joseph at Hellsgate, but outside of that, started working with Laco. I spent some time with Laco in the development stages, and I mean, all of these people I would have given a lot of thanks, and will still give a lot of thanks for the hand in my development, and the exposure that I would have gotten. That there was of pan outside of Antigua. For me, the Lacus, the Babus, Verons, they were all the world had to offer. And I'm not saying that, being exposed to others mean that they're any less. It just means that, I just know, I had no clue about the Booty Sharps, the Andy Narrells, the Liam Teagues, because, I wasn't an internet person at the time. I was still riding bicycles, trying to build bikes all over the place. I used to play golf a lot at that point in time too, and I actually I had an opportunity to go away for golf, and I chose Pan to go and represent Antigua in Pan. It was a little more fun, but I enjoyed golf. Was something that I really want to pick up again. But I'm here today, some 16 years later, now as the musical director and the arranger for the Flo Hellsgate Steel Orchestra, the winningest steel band. And I mean, throughout the years, I would have, and my country would have seen, the many accomplishments that I would have achieved, not by myself, but with the help of a lot of people. That list is far too long. But I've always, found some time to give thanks to everybody who's had their hand in that part of development, whether it is at the school panorama level, which I would have had a lot of issues with from when I first got involved some years back, and I mean the national panorama level as well. I mean that's my playground, the national panorama level, working with a beast as Hellsgate Steel Orchestra. I mean I do enjoy working for them. The foundation is pretty solid, and I mean this year going for gold again.
So you said the foundation is pretty solid. Share with us what you know of Hell's Gate Foundation.
In terms of the history, or just
no, whatever, just in general. Let me maybe I can help to focus you a bit. We've heard discussions. I've been listening to discussions about Pan, and one of the things that has become evident over time, almost, is that, especially in Antigua, is that bands are as strong as the foundation that is around them at the time. So you can look around and say, okay, a band is in this particular mode, and you can follow the history of what's going on. But I think Hell's Gate has somehow managed to be fairly consistent, even when they're not winning, that they're still in the game. So I want to know, what is it about Hell's Gate that causes that particular kind of a survival?
Well, you made something earlier. You made a mention of something earlier, and that having to do with the Henrys, that Eustace Manning bloodline, that would have been, there from just about the inception, with Eustace Manning himself, and now a lot of their children over the years, the Alstons, Orvilles. But what had happened is that Hellsgate is a band that over the years would have touched a lot of people for many different reasons. First, to playing church, one of the first steel bands to be on CDs, to perform for the Queen, perform at government house, things like that. But through those relationships, it would have met people like Stafford Joseph, who's fundamental in the continuation of this organization. He is the longest, well, he was the longest standing captain, still has that title. And who have, we just had managed to meet people who always want to take the band to another level. Because I believe, no matter who comes to the band, we always come to this. There's just this one thought. We need to do what we need to do to keep the band alive, for the next, whether it is 50 years, the next 100 years. And with that, this mindset that, we need to somehow, through what we're doing here in the community, in the wider community, Antigua and Barbuda, in the region, push the art form to the next level. And because of that common mindset and those very small goals, teach the young people, educating the young people about the instrument and a little bit about the history as well. With those common goals at the forefront, we keep working together. I'm here at Hell's Gate and I'm on the same mission with them. We speak. But one of the things that has had us running for such a long time is the commitment of the older people to giving the young people opportunities, right? And that's one of the things I've always admired about Hell's Gate. In 2009, I remember Veron coming to me and be like, well, I want you to, do some work on the Panorama tune this year. And I thought he was joking, to be honest. He was like, choose your song. So I went and looked for the song, but I didn't really think that he was serious. And then I think he was like, remember, we're going to start next week or in a few days or something like that. I was like, so what does that mean? I don't know what that means. So he's like, okay, we'll start working on the flat tune. And then he's like, okay, we'll start working on the first arrangement. Okay, start working on, until I realized, we're almost at the end of the tune.
And it's your tune.
And, we work on it. And, you would have come and, in between giving some feedback. Maybe if you try something here, and see what you get out of it. And by doing that, and, many other things, but I have to speak about that from my, my point of view. It was just looking at giving that opportunity, because a lot of people didn't even know that I was arranging in 2009. I didn't even think I myself knew that I was arranging in 2009 until, as it got very close to Panorama. But it was a case where I guess he felt like it was his time, to now pass on the baton to someone else. And I'm really happy that I was able to, do justice that year, as it's not easy to go and compete in the Panorama. I remember thinking, well, once people find that we sound good, I don't care what place we come. And just to know that, we won that first year that I arranged was an amazing feeling. I wasn't even at the grounds. I was on my way back up from pushing down pans. I was like, yeah, Hell's Gate won. I was like, yeah, sure. And they ran and left me, and somebody else walking. When I got up there, I was like, yeah, we actually won. I was like, oh, okay, fine. But things like that, giving the young people the opportunities to now run the school of band, to run the band on a regular basis, to even run some of the performances. In my absence, I took a 4 months break this year to work on some personal projects from January to April. And in my absence, some of the young people would have taken over the rehearsals, doing songs like Robert Quinton, Veron's son, Jawan, and things like that. So they would have took over and, just to get things done, to keep the band running. And these things are what drive the band and keeps the band continuing. Because, if Veron was to wait until, he's 70, 80, 90, retire and can't do much, then it leaves a big space. But however, in the process, grooming other people so that, if he decides to stop today, at least there's some sort of continuity. And that's something that we'd love to see among a lot of the other bands. Because we have to understand that these bands, they need to continue. If Hell's Gate is the only band in Antigua, well, it'll be great for us,
So you won't have any competition?
Not in terms of the competition. I don't know if you know, but for us, and especially for me, the competition is just one of the things, and it's not the only thing that we do. Yes, it's good to win, but at the end of the day, the art form is what we're looking for, which is why we make a very special effort to always support. Once a steel band needs support, if they have an event and they call us, even if we can, like at not Panache. Original.
Oh, original.
When Original has their function, we can't compete in that competition. We just have too much. However, over the years, we've just decided, hey, if you want us to just be a guest, we'll be there every year. It's not a problem. right? So, we always want to give that support to the steel bands because we've realized that outside of the competition, we need to be friends, we need to be colleagues, and we need to have one goal, and that is the development and the continuity of the steel band art form, not just here in Antigua, not just in the Caribbean, but in the world. Because it's an instrument that is still very young, and it has gone many places, and we are really trying to see how we can push that art form, how we can create avenues for young people. I mean, like myself, I'm passing the line very soon, going on to the old people side.
What?
Yeah, I'm passing the line soon.
I ain't past the old people side yet. You're behind
Okay, well,
me.
well,
Hold on.
I've plenty,
Slow down.
plenty
Slow
time
down.
to go then. But I mean, that is what has been driving, fueling, or strengthening the foundation that we have down at Flow Hellsgate. It's really not a secret. I mean, bands come down all the time and ask questions, not necessarily in how we do it, but I mean, relax. How do you build your racks? How do you, and we freely, Stafford can tell you, freely share the information with them, because if we hide it, it doesn't benefit anybody. I mean, when Stafford is gone, Vern is gone, and they leave with it, who does it benefit? The band suffers, or the bands in Antigua suffer. So that's something, that has been, as I said, strengthening, driving the foundation of the Flow Hellsgate Seal Orchestra.
Tell me about the School of Pan, and I will give you some context in terms of what I want to get out for our public. You easily have the largest School of Pan. I think the band that comes closest to you now would be Halcyon. Once upon a time, I know Gemini used to be a very strong School of Pan, but now I think Halcyon is the one that is closest to you. What is it? And I know you would be familiar with how some of the other schools of Pan operate. And it's not about being negative to anybody, but what I want to get from you is, what do you think of those qualities about Hell's Gate's School of Pan that causes it to be able to retain consistently very high numbers?
Well, if I may just add something just before I completely answer the question, is that one of the things that, or maybe I should answer it afterwards. Well, so let me go straight to your question. I'm not sure, and I'm not too aware of the other School of Pans, to be honest. We do have 4 groups. That's the 9 o'clock group. That's beginners, very beginners, initial.
I need to come back to that.
There's an intermediate group. There's what we call an advanced group, more seasoned kids. Sorry. And there's the adult group that practices on a Friday. I think by having these many groups, people with at different levels, I mean, it would encourage people to come on. I think one of the things that encourages people is because it's practically free. It's a $20 subscription every month. Some people complain that they can't afford it. The band tells them, go ahead.
The $20?
Let's not get into that.
No, I just want to make sure that I'm clear.
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
All right. But what we have been hoping is that more of the people from the community would get more involved. And when I say get involved, not just come one Saturday and don't come back, but actually come every week and come on time. We do try to teach a lot of values and different things added to values, in terms of just showing up on time, being punctual, but also from the educational aspect of it, not just the instrument, but the history of the instrument, and also the music theory behind it. And that's something that Jawan Henry, Dimitri Samuel, he as well, is working with one of the groups, and every week he'll come back. Yes, we did a test today, and they did well. They're learning, and we're really trying to.
You did like a theoretical test?
Yeah, they do tests at down at Hellsgate.
Coming.
Yeah, we do tests. I mean, they obviously they teach you the information.
Yeah, I understand.
But in September, I know we're going to be revamping the program. We've been speaking about it for the past 2 years. Myself and Jawan, we sat down and we're putting things together, a curriculum together, a different curriculum together, so that we can bring some new life to it, but also be a little bit more strict for the people who like to drop off at the end of the term. As that's what I wanted to get at, as it gets close to exam, the parents say, they can't come. I mean, in meetings, I discuss to them that what is an hour and a half, 2 hours on a Saturday morning, Saturday afternoon going to take from your child?
I'm going to check you back when your daughter is about, see, 9, 10. But I agree with you, by the way. I think that the music and sports are not things that we should take away from the children. But
outside of that, I think, by creating these avenues for these young people, and they have, it's just a sort of transition. It's not just you come to school apparently and that's it. You go to the beginners group. As you get better, they shift you up to the other group. They shift you up to the other group, and after that, we give you a strong invitation. Hey, Panorama is coming. What you doing? Or the regular side is coming.
Panorama, you have more space in your Panorama side.
We always have space.
Where?
We always have space.
Where? But before you get to before we get to that Panorama discussion, because that's one of the things I want to raise today, I have a question. It's a very curious question, and I don't have the answer. I doubt you do, but I'm going to ask it nonetheless. Hell's Gate operates in Point and Villa community. Well, it's based there. I didn't play for Hell's Gate. I played for the better band in the community. That'll be Harmonite. But I note that between both bands, there is not. Let me put it. Let me try and make it a positive statement. We could have a better representation of young people from the community. Right. I think that's the way I'd like to put it. What puzzles me is what is it that causes us to not be able to attract more youths from within the community? I don't know if you've ever posited it, thought it through, what you think.
I actually had a discussion with, I think might have been just yesterday, with Charlie Simon, just across the road.
From the better band. Yeah, go ahead. I'm teasing. I'm teasing. This is a little friendly rivalry. Carry on.
Everybody, my rivalry starts on Saturday at our event.
Yes. So we will get to it before we're done.
I like the rivalry. I actually love it. It's something that I love competitions. Yeah, but it is a case where what I've been noticing is it comes from the lack of how to put it nicely. We don't love our own kind of thing.
But they don't go anywhere else to play.
They don't go anywhere else, exactly. But
so it's not like if they're shunning us.
We would have known through the history that the steel pan is something that it came up around this community, right? And these two bands are heavily rooted in the Harmonite's even more so because of where it's located, right? And we would give invitation. We do have quite a few people that probably even more than your bands overall size of Panorama that's from this community. But we would have loved to see more. Hell's Gate is a band that worked with
everybody,
many schools, but we also work with
Villa School.
And we would hope that each year that far more of them come out. Why I say that is a case that we don't love our own. I don't think the parents here encouraging their kids, hey, you know what, you need to go and play band.
But these parents, and I raise it because I think last year it came out most sweet to me because I'm looking at the audience from now on stage, and I'm recognizing a large proportion of the audience. It's Point and Villa people. And then I'm doing a mental check. Your child not playing, your child not playing, your child don't play, your children don't play. So it's not that they don't support. We know they're supporting. Right. Fine. What is it then that doesn't allow them to translate that support into encouraging the children to come up? Because most times I think once the children get that first push, they're in.
Yeah, it is something, a lot of what we do is for the community. Yes, the wider community, but we really try to do it, with Point and Villa in mind. Right? We really try to do it with Point and Villa in mind. So, I believe a lot of the issues that we're having, if we want to call that an issue, it really starts at the home. If I tell my daughter, you have to go and learn to play pan. You have to go and learn to play pan. Some parents are okay with their children, just riding the bikes all afternoon and go. As many of them past the pan yard.
I know.
That many of them we're going to pull inside.
For you, they pass the panyard. Down at Harmonites, they play right outside the panyard. And it is such a challenge to watch.
Right. And I'm telling you, it's something that we really need to revisit. Because without a doubt, we do have quite a few players that are not from the community, which is fine. It's actually showing out that we're actually expanding,
Yes.
and we're bringing different people from different backgrounds into our community, which is a good thing. But yes, naturally, I mean, a band like Ham Nights is not supposed to be struggling for players. I mean, we can now argue about because I think for some people it'd be just organization of the group or administration and things like that. That's a totally different topic. But I mean, people should still
be in the panyard.
Right, and it's something where the parents. I don't know how many of them you can reach to, Petra, but
yeah, I plan to now that I've back in a general role. I plan to take on a little bit more of that
go to
challenge.
the parents and say, hey, listen, your children need to go and play band. Listen, your son and your daughter need to go and learn to, even if they don't, when they get to 17, 18, and finish from school,
15,
and they don't want to,
14, 15.
right? And they don't want to continue. That is their prerogative, they're now young adults, however. But everybody in the community, the parents, need to say, listen, you need to go and learn to play pan. You go and play pan. Right, come off the street, go and play pan.
I think we could sell it as a rite of passage. When I was about 4 years old, I remember that my uncle, Papi, used to say to me, you're going to play pan, right? My father, of course, was having none of this because as far as he was concerned, pan was not the thing to do. By the time I was 8, I had to go play pan because the uncle was like, this is a family tradition you can't break. We won't discuss that later, breakage. And then my son was told, so at 3, 4, he was farming food and people them don't have an Spaniard. We won't discuss his future. But I so you see why I am a challenge. No, he plays, but I just can't get him to play for Panorama. He plays very well.
Put the
But
belt on his bottom and tell him
I lost the chance. Now he's bigger than me. But so there are two other things that I want to just touch on again, and I think we're going to have to come back because we need to come back when we can get Stafford on the line, and not to take anything away from, because we're having an excellent. I think I actually like this conversation, but one of the things I note about Hell's Gate is that, and maybe it's because it's a reflection of the level of involvement of the youth in the program, is that you've embraced technology, you've embraced social media in all its forms, you've embraced how you approach the whole business of your recordings and so on. Tell me some more about that, because I don't think we done enough of that in Antigua in terms of being able to sell ourselves out beyond our shores.
Well, as you mentioned, with the development of the band and the emergence of young people, coming up through the ranks, one of the things that the young people would have been telling the older people, hey, we need to get with the times. And that's a real discussion that we do have. We do have in our bands from, again, many different backgrounds. Some of the young people who would have started 16 years ago with me are now, managers or, have different roles in banks, well, some of them work in telecoms, some of them work at the airports, and they have different strengths, right? And that's one of the things that would have been working for us as well. Finding ways to get everybody to contribute to the greater good, if we want to call it that. So, like Jabari Edwards, he's one of the twins who works with us, and he says, listen, hey, we need to get on social media more. I will do that. And he took up that responsibility, so he's on the Instagram. Him and Robert Quinton on Instagram, on Facebook.
Yeah, they're all over.
All right, and they've taken up that, and again, going all the way back to something I said earlier, with the older people or the more mature people would have said, let's give the young people a chance. Let's hear what they have to say, and that's a conversation we need to have more on a national level. It's not a case where you're trying to say, well, the young people are going to run with everything, but you give them an opportunity to speak, and then you see what they're saying, and then you say, listen, maybe we can do this. Let me guide them, or let me take what they say, and we're going to try to show we can work along.
Your first Panorama story.
Basically, all right? But that has been happening over the years, and we still have some shortcomings, and that's because we're not comparing it to any of the other local bands. We actually just think we can do more. One of our biggest issues is money.
The business side of the band. That's a good place to go.
The money is a great issue. I mean, a lot of people think that we're a rich band, and that is not the case. Yes, we are rich with talent and with people who want to do well, do better,
and people who find ways
right?
to cut and contrive.
And I mean, we built a whole band house, and as all the members helped, nights after work come down and put up. So, but that it can't always work that way. We don't always have that comfort. So we've been trying to find creative ways, to build some finances. I'm hoping this year, if all goes well, we can sell some T-shirts again to raise some funds, because we want to do more projects. We couldn't have the Father's Day concert this year. We just couldn't afford it, and the time we just couldn't find the time. So we put it off this year.
You couldn't afford it?
Yeah, the Father's Day concert.
Why? Because you gave away the tickets?
No, we stopped. That's one of the things I stopped doing. I told them, hey, we need to stop giving them.
You're carrying up the prices next time?
Um,
Because that's one of the things because we started late.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to be short on time. I'm going to take a few minutes of the other schedule. But one of the things I wanted to talk about was and you started looking at it in terms of short of funds. But now I want to look at the business side in terms of how does the band approach the need to generate revenue. For example, I'm assuming that most of the tutors volunteers.
right.
Right.
All of the tutors volunteer.
All of the tutors volunteer. And you have a very good product. And you spoke earlier about the fact that persons find $20 even a challenge. But you're giving an excellent service. One, as tutors who need to live, and two, as a band who has to service the instruments that are used for the practice sessions. Okay, that's one. Two, you have a lot of other activities that you do. Persons calling you to play at various events and so forth and so forth. And everybody expects you to contribute as a social good. But then how do you sustain maintenance of the band in all its facets at that quality to be able to give this complimentary service or subsidized service? Wait, and is it time for there to be, in that conversation that you're talking about, a conversation about persons paying a little more for the service? Notice I didn't say the value.
All right. Well, there are many different facets. One of which being, again, I always use the term, we usually have to turn water into wine. Just whatever it means. But also, we've been very fortunate, to have a sponsor, for the last, 29 years. Though, I mean, things are a little rough and finances are not as great as we would like. We're fortunate to always have them, behind us or next to us, providing assistance. And that is Flo I'm speaking about. So we're always thankful for that. And also, can't forget, people like Petra Martin and others, Simon, Dr. Simon, and, people of the like who would have, always come out and given some support somewhere. Even the Prime Minister, himself, Brown, would have, found some way to contribute something, but it is even just a meal on the night of Panorama or night before Panorama. I can't even forget his name. Well, I can forget his name, but I can't forget him. What's his name? Oh,
Captain Steve?
No, right up at the top there, short guy. Pinder, Mr. Joseph.
Oh yes, Mr. Lord, how could we forget Mr. Pinder? Mr. Pinder, we're sorry.
I can't forget him.
Yes.
The names. But a lot of people would have seen what we're doing and would have, contributed. The band does perform regularly. Unfortunately, not everything we do, as you mentioned, is a paid performance. We do give back.
But every performance costs.
Every performance costs, and that's something that is a conversation that we've been having, not just with the people, because I let people know. Right, and sometimes they said I'm a bit too blatant, but I said I don't think that you realize that you're asking us to do X, Y, and Z, and it really costs us to do this. And I mean, you're asking us to do it for free. Okay, fine. We do a lot of things for free, and we don't mind doing it, but at times it really. Right now, the truck is on the renovation. Do you want to call it? It's in the shop, and somebody
has to pay for that.
Right? Yes, and we have performances today. I think that's why Vern is not here. He has to prepare himself for that performance, and we now have to rent.
The truck, and somebody has to pay for that.
Somebody has to pay for it.
So you have to pay for the one on the maintenance, and then you have to pay for the one that's in the shop.
But the real issues here with the steel band movement in Antigua is that I don't think that we are valued the way we should be. Steel bands in general have been turning water into wine. They've been given far more than they're receiving. We have been getting a lot of assistance, each year. Not just at Panorama. Panorama, this happens to be the biggest expense, but not just at Panorama, just throughout the years. I mean, everybody comes and expect, this level at National Panorama. Expect to see all the lights, all of the flashy, shiny pans, but none of them really understands that, hey, one of those shiny pans, one single tenor is running you 3,500 EC.
It gone up?
Yes.
Oh, Lord.
3,500, and some bands.
Let me preserve the one I have in my house that was $900.
25, go up there with 25, 30, 35 single tenors. No, the single tenor is 35. You can multiply that by 30.
Wait, hold a minute. Now, this is my challenge to Hell's Gate and to all the steel bands, because we've been having this conversation for years now. No band to date has put, at least the way I can see it in black and white, that if you want a 25-piece side, this is what it costs us to come to you, a 25-piece. If you want a 50-piece, this is what it costs. So at least when somebody comes and says, I want you for free, you can show them this is what we're giving up.
Well, we have it in black and white,
Well, don't share it. Because I think we need to have that conversation.
I'm going to tell you, what
it's
the
very
conversation
important.
we need to have. I think what is happening a lot of times, I think, because a lot of people do make a lot of suggestions, which is good. I think, though, I'm a strong believer in what they call specialization, if I want to use that term.
I'm going to get in trouble now.
There are times that, people from the business community would suggest, a lot of things. And I've always encouraged them, hey, as opposed to just suggesting, how about you guys say, let us sit down and you will help us, guide us through the process. Because we can't do everything, right? We really can't do everything. Right, Petra?
I agree.
So with the business mind people like you, you can say, listen, hey, Hell's Gate,
I said I put my foot in it.
Yes, you can say, well, Hell's Gate, I really prefer another band, but I like what you're doing. Let us go, and we're going to solicit X amount of funds from these companies. And
you know what is painful about that? Is that the person that walked in just now is going to tell me that he and I started that conversation and we never finished.
But it's something that we need to do as a national steel band movement. We really need to try to find ways to not just solicit funds, but make the give back or the revenue that's coming in to be a little bit more greater, so that we're not in so much burden, right? So that we can be more experiment more with our different initiatives. As I'm pretty sure bands here would like to do a lot of things. They'd like to do a lot of things. We'd love to tour more. I'd love for somebody to say, listen, hey, let us come up with a business deal. We send you on a 2-week tour in Europe, right? And you go and you speak about Antigua music, more specifically about it.
I disagree. I am saying let's put Hell's Gate in Europe. Let's market it. Let the people pay the cost of a ticket, like when they come to Antigua to perform, and let the band make money. I know. Okay. At this point, I'm going to get into trouble, but I'm going to do it anyways. Let me welcome my dear friend. We're still friends, Mr. Varen Henry. Boy, we're talking behind your back. We just nothing major. We just said that you're from that lineage that helps to keep Hell's Gate on its feet throughout the years, along with everyone else. So don't think that we knock you alone, because I know that's the first thing you're going to see. Hold a second. Sorry. Which one? Okay, go again. Sorry.
Good afternoon, Miss Williams, and good afternoon to your listening public.
You know, when he says Miss Williams, and he makes me feel so oldish, but I'll take it nonetheless. So, Varen, jump right in because we are on the back end of time.
Yes, and I have to leave shortly.
But and we are very much appreciative that you made the effort to come in despite the challenges you're having today.
Yes,
All right.
I had to come.
Thank you, and I thank you so very much. Ken and I were just. I'm going to pick up from where he left off, and I'm going to say that we have the outstanding conversation before you put it, you throw me under the bus. I trained myself first. How is it that we can move the business side of Hell's Gate? I'm saying Hell's Gate, but by extension PAN, to that point where it becomes, what thoughts do you have on us being able to move Hell's Gate into a viable business proposition? If at all, or you think it will always remain something that has to continue to have presence like you and can turn water into wine, to use Can's phrase?
Well, slowly but surely, it will get there. Take for instance, when PAN started, even when I started.
Which was when?
In the 70s.
Okay.
My father, for instance, was making PAN as a hobby, right? He was getting little or nothing out of the art form. 30 years later, a person like myself, Can Cordis, at least making something. It may not be what we wish it to be as yet, but at
or
least...
that you can be full-time doing that alone.
Right. We are full-time. I'm a full-time PAN creator. He's a full-time PAN musician. And, it takes steps. It's not going to reach at the end of the road immediately. But once we stay on the right track, I think we'll reach there where PAN can be viable, it can be self-sustained, and we wouldn't have to depend so much on like sponsorship and
sponsorship can be part of the business model.
Well, it can be, but you don't have to depend on it as much as we do now. Now we basically hand them out as old people would say. We depend on sponsorship to put us on the front burner, if we want to call it that. For instance, for Panorama, a non-sponsored band, as you will see, cannot, well, in terms of the preparations and so on, it's very, very difficult for them to make a Panorama. So I commend the bands that do not have a sponsor that, make it and make it the way they do. But I know how difficult it is without a sponsor because before, then Cable and Wireless, before we did not have a sponsor for many years, and we really struggled just to meet the stage. So it's very, very difficult at this time, but hopefully as time progresses, we will get out of this era where we have to depend on sponsorship.
You have been with Hell's Gate since the 70s. Early-ish 70s. No, late 70s. It can't be early 70s. I'm not
late
right.
70s.
Okay.
Well, I've been Hell's Gate since in the 60s.
Oh, God. I make the thing bad now. Okay, I'm trying not to date myself here. This is important that you say late 70s so that I feel younger. But how have you seen... Can has shared with us from his time, 2002, how he has seen the evolution. So you would pick up from between your time and when you started handing him the reins of the arranging. How have you seen the band evolve?
Well, we've come a very long way.
Hey, y'all were always a big band. Well, a long way y'all come with all them size. What, to get bigger?
If you remember, we can take you back. We entered the Panorama with 19 PAN players one time, and that was just in the...
19?
19 PAN players.
And how many persons the other bands had?
40, 60, 70, and so on.
That sounds like you want to harmonize this does you. But yeah, carry on. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so one typical example, when I first came around the band had a band house with a small band house, maybe about 30 by 20, with dirt floor. I can remember, going to Panyard and so on. If rain come, a lot of rain come, you step inside the barnyard, but you have mud on your foot, on your feet. We went from there where we stepped up a bit in the 90s when we had a band house with floor, but we still had to practice outside.
And pack up and put inside.
Pack up
I
and put
remember
inside.
that. But that's not good.
So
I should
happened,
remember that.
So happened that Louis came and blew down everything.
I remember that too.
Out of, what you think is a bad, good come. We had to practice in my father's backyard for a few years, and then we venture into the lot the way we are now. When we started there, we had a 20 by 20. We practicing inside then, but it was very, very small. And as the band expanded, we saw it fit to dig deep to expand the band house as well. Now the band house is 80 by 60.
And too small.
Well, the whole, with the exception of the 9 bases, everything else practice inside.
Oh, okay.
Panorama. So, that's just one example where we
10 bases.
10 bases. We upgraded them. Yes. So that's just one example of
10
the transformation
bases?
from the 70s to now. Yes, 10 bases.
Okay. I don't play bases, all right.
You like to
No,
try?
no. I just need to try what I'm supposed to go back and try what I normally do. Never mind.
Yeah, another example, back in the 70s, when we go to play out at hotels, we used to have to ride in the back of a truck. And I can remember my father giving stories of incidents where players would have fallen out of the truck, having great accidents and so on. We moved from there where we had a bus. Back in 1981, we bought a bus where the pans and the players could hold in one vehicle. So, was less dangerous. When we move in, we move together. Sometimes the pan reach to the hotel and the players are not there, or the players reach to the hotel and the pans are not there. So we came to an era where everything went together. And, even up to now, although we're in a truck, but we're in an enclosed truck, and the players and the instruments travel together now. So
The players are in the truck?
yeah, in the front. In the front of the truck.
Okay.
Not in the back of the truck now.
Yes, it is double cab. I'm just imagining.
Yeah.
Yes. 1 second. Tabitha, could you look here a second, please? Oh, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Yeah, so those are examples of where we've come from to now, before when we were practicing, let's say for Panorama, persons come to arrange basically out of their head. Most of the arrangers used to arrange out of their head. They come in the panyard and they think of something and they give the players. Now we have qualified musicians arranging. They come with a score sheet and they even give the players the score sheet. So not only the arranger reading the score sheet, but some of the players are reading the score sheets as well. And I think that's a big step, forward. I hope that soon from now that all the players, at least the regular playing side, will be able to read their own score sheet.
That is the plan.
Yeah, that is the plan, but these things take a little time. But
You mentioned that as a plan. I want to pick up on that point and go back to something that Ken said in terms of organizing classes for the persons. You do theoretical classes as part of your pan training.
Yes.
Right. is there scope within that to also perhaps get them certified? I know you will have your own internal certification, but is there scope perhaps to then twin that with the international certification?
That's the plan. Myself and Khan spoken about that, to get, internationally certified. But as you know, everything takes time.
Of course.
And as some people will say, the pan is a baby instrument compared to most other instruments, So we're moving in the right direction, although a little slowly, but we know we're on the right track. And most of the times finances, cause you to move slow, but I'm sure in not distant future we will get to propel and reach where we need to be.
Okay, so
you said the same thing I said.
Right, yep, you did. I just didn't pull out the certification from you, so I just wanted to know if that is something that we're looking towards. Now, in terms of, I know we flashed across it in terms of touring, and I know touring costs substantially in terms of putting instruments on the road and so on. But has the band thought about making connections? I know, for example, let me back up. In your capacity as a pan builder, did I say the right thing? Pan builder, instruments. I want to make sure I use the correct term.
Pan technician.
See, I have to make sure I learn the correct terms. In your capacity as a pan technician, do you interact with other islands, other bands, and so on? That's for you. And it can, in your capacity as an arranger, I can say arranger for you, right? There's a more professional term. I have to make sure.
No, musical arranger.
Good. And your profession as a steel band musical arranger, or just general musical arranger?
And composer.
Okay. In your right. What have both of you been able to do in terms of connecting with other bands locally, in terms of arrangements, and also regionally and internationally?
Well, in terms of arrangement or in terms of touring?
For you, I am now looking for you as, you're kind of like everything, aren't you? Technician, arranger.
Well, I pass through all the fields.
Okay. So in your full-bodied capacity, tell us about how you and the band have been able to network locally. And I'm looking at in terms of building relationships that potentially could then be used to leverage the band to go to the next level.
Well, we've always been open to, forging relationships with all the bands. But, because of the nature of Panorama competition, you know what that does to you. That set you back 6 months of the year.
Every time?
Every year.
Oh,
set you back 6 months, so you only have 6 months to catch up, to reunite with other bands. So, we right now we're trying to get things back on track in terms of a collective steel band union in the country. And I think once that is done, it'll be easier for the bands to collaborate and move forward, especially when it comes to international engagements.
Okay. Cool. Yes. All right. So that's from your end, Can.
Where do I start? Well, I've actually, spoken to some of the bands about, collaborating, possibly, doing one song or two songs with them. And the goal was, I remember I spoke to Geminites already. I spoke to Joato about it. It's not competition, outside the competition, just come and do one tune. But for me, it's really a gesture of trying to get the bands to be, again, colleagues working together towards a greater good. As Varen said, Panorama has caused us to be, this rivalry is going way past the night of the competition. And it really takes us, Varen said 6 months, it takes us the entire year. It really takes us the entire year. It's being very modest.
You see how my eyes stay? Because this rivalry, as you guys put it, in my home, well, the family home, we have Halcyon, we have Hell's Gate, we have Harmonites, and I mean the rivalry is pretty fierce. But when it is done, it is done. So why is it that I have a and audience, to be fair, I know what they're talking about, even though you hear me saying this. I let me confess, I know what they're talking about. But I have a tremendous difficulty. Like, from where I sat last year, coordinating the competition, I mean, I would hear representatives say things about other bands, and I'd be like, hold on, what? But they come play at all your events throughout the rest of the year, so how did we end up there? What is it about us that causes that breakdown that takes so long to rebuild? Because to my mind, that breakdown limits the ability for you to negotiate as one, even in your own interest for Panorama, the biggest showpiece, even in your own interest for Schools Panorama, the second biggest showpiece. And so to my mind, I mean, if you can't fix those things, like you wanting to arrange other songs for them at other times of the year, how really would that play out?
Well, it has not. You know.
Well, I think maybe it stems from how PAN started.
I was just going to say,
it's
heavily rooted in that.
Yes. Remember, if you will recall of the olden stories, bands used to meet on the road and fight and fiercely fight and so on.
Yes, I have relatives that used to do that.
And PAN was a weapon. Some of the pans became weapons and so on. And, you know, we've gone far from that. But, you know, some of the things...
Permit me 1 second. Good afternoon, Mr. Joseph.
Yes, good afternoon. How's everyone there?
Everyone here is fine. Varen, forgive me. We have Mr. Stafford Joseph on the line.
Wonderful.
Mr. Joseph, in studio with me, we have Varen Henry and Can Cordis. Are you hearing us?
Okay, both masters.
Yes,
Master
I am in the best company, I think. So we are just discussing they have both been looking at today and looking forward, and we had hoped to have had you when we started, but we're glad to have you now. If you could just share with us and with our audience, because Hell's Gate is about to move into their opening their official Panorama season. The novel,
very large,
the novelty of Hell's Gate. But we wanted you just to share with us, in brief, how your recollections of the early Hell's Gate, where we're coming from, or at least the story as it's told to you.
Well, again, early on, I want to Gate. So, yeah. Quite, whatever Hell's Gate is doing now, I can tell you from my research and, I mean, not my personal experience too, but speaking to the older guys and all of them, and even people from different bands too, not only Hell's Gate. What Hell's Gate is doing now is what it was actually doing before. So it's nothing new, just that the discipline and the idea of always being the leader. And as Malin would say, Hell's Gate is not a moon band. I heard him saying that several times, but he explained to me, Hell's Gate is not a moon band. It's a thing on it. So one time I was asked, I said, Skip, what do you mean by moon band? See, the moon shines with a bar of light.
Hello? Hello?
You're breaking up, Stafford.
Oh dear.
Hello?
Hi, okay, we're hearing you now again.
Yeah. So Hell's Gate is not being true.
Okay, Stafford? Stafford? I don't know if you're hearing me, but we can't hear you. So just give us like 2 minutes and then try again for us now, please. Wait, please, thank you. I'm so sorry we're not able to get that. I wanted to get that moon band story. Everyone, that moon band story?
It's best told by Mr. Joseph.
All right, I figured as much. There are just certain things you just want to hear from him. I've been privileged to sit at his feet, so I know a few of it, but I wanted the public to get some of it. But
he says that saying a lot by Veron's father about the moon band. But Hell's Gate is not a band that works with borrowed light. They're the one that shine the light.
Oh, yes. So, even if we don't get Stafford today, guys, y'all are going to have to come back again so we can get that story, because I don't think the story of Hell's Gate can be in one chapter. And Vern, I'm so sorry that I had to cut you off, but it was important to get him in at that particular
that's
time.
not a problem at all.
Understand. All right. What I want to get to now is the whole, this novelty that Hell's Gate has introduced. I'm not sure it's how many years it is now, where you launch your panorama preparation. Who came up with that idea? And why do you think it's important to do a launch? Because my history of panorama has been that you are told that you're going to start practicing at around this time. I never got there for the time, I'll be honest. And then I normally get there when you're sure you have the flat shoe. You're sure? Okay, I come in. But now you guys have a whole production around this thing called a launch of panorama. Share that with us.
Well, I'll share the first part, and the author of the actual launch now can share the second part. Well, it started some years back now, where we normally call a meeting to call the players together, all the active players and those who wish to play for Panorama, as well as supporters, and parents. We normally call a meeting, let's say a week before we start actually practice, and that meeting we explain to them what we're looking forward to do for the season.
You do what?
We explain to them what we're doing for the season.
Okay.
What we expect of them, discipline, keep the penthouse clean, everything that we expect of them. And then we will tell them what song we intend to play for the Panorama.
One second. Mr. Joseph, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Okay, yes, I'm hearing you. I'm just allowing Varen to just go through the, you guys' big panorama launch. So give us a few minutes. Let us just get that out of the way, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes. So we, go through the whole season, what we expect and what we expect to do and what we expect of them, and then we will, tell them what song we're playing at that meeting for the competition. About 5-6 years ago.
5 years.
5 years ago.
Meeting.
Yeah, we have a general meeting.
Meeting
okay,
where we call everybody together. Yes, 5 years ago, Mr. Cordis came up with the idea of transforming it into a launch where the band will perform. We have different acts, and we have other things. But over the years, over the 5 years, or over the 4 years that we have had it, this is going to be the 5th. Over the 4 years that we have had it, we have introduced new things every year, practically. Where we have an MC, we have a packed program where we go through, everything that a normal program would have. This year will be the first time now that we're actually inviting other
guest bands. Noticed.
That will be entering the Panorama. I think we've had one or two.
They're not playing
before.
their pieces though. They're not playing their flat. Their flat pieces.
We don't know if they do. It will be a surprise, and that will be very nice.
Could be a mini panorama launch. Go ahead.
Yes. So this year, we're trying to make it bigger and better, and we're actually going. We normally have it at the Panyard.
I see you moving.
This time we're moving over to Village School.
You're moving over early.
Just for one day for now.
Okay.
Yes, we're doing it in Village School, and we're hoping, that we can have as much persons come out and support the art form, not just support Hell's Gate, but support the art form and what Hell's Gate, Flo Hell's Gate is doing, and hope.
Go ahead, sorry.
We hope that other bands can take the idea and run with it as well. We would love when the time comes, when we have our launch, maybe Harmonize have theirs, so Halcyon have theirs,
I'm going home. I'm coming soon.
Just moving around the island for different launch, and and make it a big thing. That's where we are today. Again, we're hoping that the public will come out and support this venture. Not just supporting Hell's Gate, but support the Pan and its art farm in general.
I like the idea. You
love the idea.
It's Saturday, right?
You love the idea.
Saturday 26th.
I'm excited by the idea. That's better.
That sounds better.
I mean, I would love it if it was Harmonize. You know it is. You know it is.
That's not our fault.
I'm teasing. All right. So for the launch of Panorama, you'll be playing your flat tune.
It's not the launch of Panorama.
Sorry, the launch of...
It's Hell's Gate's Panorama
Hell's Gate.
launch, not the launch
My
of
apologies.
Panorama.
So for Hell's Gate's Panorama launch, better, you'll be playing your flat piece.
Well, let me walk you through it really quickly.
Okay.
There's as Varen said, 5 years ago, we came up with this idea. I remember running it by Stafford. I used to bounce ideas off him a lot of times, but he left me and went away.
I'm sure you still know to find it.
Yeah, man.
Okay,
we speak
all right.
regularly. But, bouncing the idea of him. It's not something new to Pan. They do it in New York. However, our program setup is a little different. But when it came with the idea, the initial plan was, and still is to find ways to get the community. And when I say community, I don't want us to just point them to
Understood.
I mean, yes, they are at the forefront, but we're talking about the wider community, Antigua and Barbuda, getting them more involved in what is happening in Pan. Because I don't think we realize, even some of the Panists or Pan bands realize, how much we affect, the carnival. I mean, we now look at the numbers, and the rivalry at the Panorama, I guess, is what brings out a lot of people as well. I mean, everybody wants to come to see Hell's Gate win, right? But outside, outside of that,
My mother's not listening. My uncle is dead. I'm good. Yeah, you go ahead. You go right ahead.
But it's Hell's Gate finding ways, Flo Hell's Gate finding ways to give back to the community and give back to the art form. So finding ways to get people more involved, get the players more interested. Hey, Panorama is going to start next week. No, we need to get ready. Because that's the kind of feeling, the kind of mood we're trying to set. So people say, you know what? The Panorama season is now kicked off. Rehearsals are going to begin. I mean, this.
I've cleared my phone so I can get videos.
Right. So, I mean, that is really where it all came from. And as Varen mentioned, finding ways that the bands can get together and, perform and just bring music, bring the enjoyment to the communities. We're happy. We have invited bands before, but they fell off along. Communities
Gun shy. I mean, come on. You guys are launching your Panorama tune. You're going to come
It's
big.
not-
You're
no.
going to come big, bad. Listen.
It has nothing
Take
to do
it.
with
Take it from me. Listening to the other Pan bands, to the other bands. Y'all gonna come big, bad, and large, and I don't big, and I big, and everybody, and I can go show off.
At the launch,
Yeah.
it is our regular side that performs at the launch. It's not our Panorama band that performs at the
Which
launch.
regular side? The small regular side, the medium regular side, or the regular
Our
side?
regular side.
Okay, so your regular size, your regular size
20-something players.
is pretty powerful. You know this, right?
We have people who have been working at their craft, and we have a very good instrument and a very good tuner, an excellent tuner. So, I mean, that will happen. But, I mean, it's not a case where we're really not trying to show off on anybody because we perform at all of the events. Why is this one any different? I mean, it just so happened that one of the things that we decided to do on the night was to reveal our Panorama tune. No, the situation with that is not...
So you're not telling me where you're playing? I have to come Saturday?
You have to come Saturday to hear it.
Boy, Saturday is...
Right, you have to come
Antigua
Saturday.
becoming a place now with too many activities, eh?
Well,
We
that's
have
good.
to work this calendar out.
Right.
I'm going to be there.
But, so by doing that, it's really, so that we just, people like you, I wonder what Hell's Gate is playing, especially the players, or prospective players. I wonder what Hell's Gate is playing, boy. And they come and they hear like, I like this. Even if it's songs that they've never heard before, just hearing it being played on the instrument, you'd be like, boy, this is going to cause some damage or whatever. And as
And the
Varen said,
argument begins from thenceforth.
we would love for the bands to come and and do the same. I think I told Gavin, they can feel free to do that.
He probably will be up to the challenge.
Here's the microphone. You do what you have to do, right? But it's really an event. We really want people to just come on out. It's not a competitive event. There are a few things that's going to happen on the night.
For you, it's not a competitive event. Okay, noted.
Right? It's not a competitive event. If you want to call it a mini Blockorama, you can call it a mini Blockorama, because we hope there are 5 bands going to be there: East Vibes, West Side, Geminites, and Panache is going to be there. Right? Those are the bands we sent out invitations to. So we're trying this year. Next year we may have more.
Up into your neighbor, your neighbors across the sea. Dwayne, good afternoon. How are you?
We're coming at them, man.
Next year. We still have next
everybody.
year.
Yeah. We have. I mean, again.
I tell you, you want to be in my household for a panorama. The Halcyon, the Harmonites.
We also going to have
the Ebonites. Oh my goodness.
We've also started this pan shootout on the night. So I've never heard Dwayne play pan before, but he can come out and hit 2 notes on Saturday night.
Many years ago.
But we've been
drums.
We've been encouraging a lot of people, young and old.
So hold on, you're not going to take people out of the audience to do this, right? You have to actually want to do this.
If somebody out of the audience wants to
I just want to make sure that I come and nobody pick on me, because I can't remember how to play.
I expect to see Johnson on a pan.
Okay, yeah.
The
good people that know the things.
Petra
Perfect.
I
don't remember how to play. Okay, I'm being honest.
But it'd be nice to see,
I'll work with Jerry.
Blakey, and so I spoke to Congo. I spoke to Congo. He played at the East Vibes thing.
Okay. The soloist. Okay, I saw that in the video. I couldn't make that night. I was sick.
Spoke to some of them, inviting them out.
Pan shootouts.
Yeah, we've been happening the past couple of years as well.
All right.
And it's just really, the band Hell's Gate will play, little in the back.
You playing in the pan shootout?
It depends.
He playing in the pan shootout? Notice I'm looking at him.
Very.
There's problems already. Jesus. See all
no, but it's just entertaining. It's really for the audience and even for us as well.
It's a fun thing. It's not a serious thing.
Permit me 2 questions. We have to wrap up and you guys have to come back. All right. My program, this is how I do a topic about the economy 1 week. And I promise Calypso I'll do them. The next week I'll do another topic and I'll do pan. Because I think between Calypso and pan we need to make sure. I don't think either one of those gets sufficient of an audience like this. And so I want to be able to introduce and integrate that into the program. And so in terms of as we wrap up, I just want 2 things. Oh Jesus. Yeah, I played his song last year. Somebody played his song last year or the year before?
Yeah, your other band.
My other?
Hassan played it.
I only have 1 band now.
The one across
the one down the road, right up the road from me. I only have 1 band.
Okay.
My household has many bands. So, just one very quick question I want. If you, both of you, could pick the one thing that you would want to see done in the pan fraternity to take it to the next level, what would that be? What's the one thing?
For me, for the pan lab to be fixed.
God, you got for... I saw the door open, the middle door. Was that a good sign when I was driving up the road today?
Yes.
That's a good sign?
It's a good sign that activities is taking place.
The activity is always taking place.
Yeah.
I'm talking about in terms of the repair.
Oh, no.
Oh, okay.
For me, I'd love to see us in the fraternity in general find ways to start working together and working together meaningfully. So that we can, with numbers, with togetherness, we can get a lot of things done. If we can start seeing eye to eye outside of the panorama competition, whether they think this band won and this band didn't win, and after the competition, we need to get together for the greater good. And I've been saying that over and over. I think that is the only way we're going to get things done. That's the only way we're going to, we can argue.
Get the pan lab
we
fixed.
can get, the pan lab. That more people, get into building and tuning.
That's the pan hospital.
I know, which is why we need to get it sorted.
That, no hotel or anybody that's hiring a steel band can pay anything less than this for a certain number of people.
For labor negotiations, no.
No, I'm just saying. But
I asked you for one thing.
It's one thing with
one
umbrella thing and a bunch of things fall on it.
All right, fair enough. Well, gentlemen, I am very pleased to have had both of you here. My pants story actually began there, but my heartstring is just right next to me, so it works out. It's been a pleasure having you both. Varen, I know you had a very packed day, and I want to thank you for coming.
You're welcome.
I'm only here
too, as well.
Thank you. I'm only here on Wednesdays. I intend to stay being only here on Wednesdays, despite all the demands. So I'll like to have you both back closer to the event. I actually want to have one. I don't know who we'll have. But we have a general pan fraternity discussion.
Closer to which event?
Closer to which one of the events? That's true. We'll pick something. Can is to come back with me to discuss a topic that Antiguans do not traditionally associate with him. And I will even tell him today, but he'll be back in another life. And you will be back because we have to discuss the story of, another life. That's a whole other life. And you, Varen, will have to be back because you and I have to talk about Varen, the many faces and moods and everything. Yeah?
Not a problem.
All right. So thank you both, gentlemen.
Saturday at 7
Yes,
p.m.
Saturday the 26th of May at 7 p.m. You have a theme?
Sharp.
This year?
You have a theme for your launch?
Come and buy food, eat and drink until
That is the launch. That is the theme. So I have to leave back something from food fair.
Yeah, leave back something
Okay.
after food fee come down. It's a $5 entrance fee. Really just to offset some.
I give you
some of
$5
this.
now in case I don't make it.
If you want to leave 50 50 Petra, that's fine. That's not a problem. But
Okay, so I do have next. I have guests.
If you bring 20 persons as a group, you get half price.
I thought you said I get in free. No. I'm not bringing them for no half price. $5 and you want to give them a half price?
Right, give it half.
If you
So
bring 20 persons.
So everyone have a nice afternoon. You just gonna spoil the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, please. Saturday the 26th, 7 p.m., Villa Primary School. We are going out to support Hell's Gates launch. Right? And then they're going to come second. But until that night, we are going out to support Hell's Gate launch. Gentlemen,
The rivalry starts on Saturday.
for me,
No,
the
for
rivalry
me.
start here and now.
Well, for me, on
My guys
Saturday-
up the road, Ali, here I defending y'all. Listen here, right? Last year I get dust in my face, right? I can't do it. Last year was a good year to get dust in my face because I was managing the event, so I could have used that as my cover. I don't have that as cover this year. So, all right, gentlemen, thank you both very much, and I will see you on Saturday. I'll be there.
All right,
Have a
thanks
good
for
evening.
having us.
Thank you, guys. All right. So as we transition from both gentlemen, I'm so sorry we didn't get to spend more time with Mr. Joseph, but we will definitely have to have him to discuss not only the history of Hell's Gate, but the history of Pan in general in Antigua, because he is very, 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 very knowledgeable in that. And at this time, of course, it's always a buzz of activity in the house. If I could only just keep one of them here. Headphones. I now have with me this afternoon. Oh, Jesus. I don't want to hear you. You're just here to supervise.
Mic check. Let's do the mic check. Sorry. Mic check. Oh, yes.
Darling, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I am wonderful. And could you please introduce yourself to my audience, please?
Hello, Point FM. My name is Empress. I am a student of the Austin Secondary School, and I'm the reigning junior groovy monarch of Antigua and Barbuda.
Wait, the money song was groovy?
Yes.
I thought it was just everything. That you have that song here today? Even a little bit? No? But you the easy. You come to me without my song until at least I get the new song.
Oh, we get it. I'll talk to him.
She can sing 2 lines for me, I'm sure. So, darling, tell us, how many years have you been singing?
I have been singing since I was a small child at 5 years, but in the competition, I just did 1 year.
Last year was your first year?
Yeah, last year.
That big, powerful, bad production was your first year?
Yes, my very first.
Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are not seeing her online, right, she's now in front of me. She looks like a little thing. But when she's on stage, boy, it's just pure power. So, you can give us 2 lines of your song from last year?
I spending my mother money, I spending my brother money, I spending my sister money. I driving them crazy.
She's spending it, she's spending it.
Easy, Peter. We have it, so we just send it over to you when you're done.
Yes. So, tell me, how was that experience last time?
It was lovely. It was very, very lovely to see I accomplished it with one go. A lot of hard work and dedication.
Tell me about the hard work and dedication. What did Menace do to you?
Not really. Not really what I did to her.
I didn't ask you no question.
I had the drive. I had the support. That alone had me going.
And in terms of rehearsals and so on, who organized that? Was that done through the Festivals Commission? In terms of the show? I know normally they do a lot of work with the Calypsonian side, but did they do a lot of work with the soca artists?
Yes, they did.
Right.
Let me jump in, you know? Okay. How are you, Petra? Love the hairstyle, still looking good in red. I must say, compliments to your fashionistic side, you know?
It is not red, but carry on.
Yes, most of the work.
Empress, he gives me plenty of words, you know?
Yes,
Go ahead.
I must say, most of her work comes through the camp, and we have to give kudos to Victor Babu Samuel Jr., who drills her on a regular basis. Right now, she has a powerful jumpy coming, and also this groovy that we released this morning. It's in preparation for the big show this year. So this year she's coming up bigger, better, and definitely giving some more trouble. Back to
I like this one of that. So tell me, in terms of her songs for this year, who is the writer?
Well, basically, I still write for her. I was a bit skeptical about doing a jumpy with her, because you know Villain and them, all them guys out there. So I found a song that could really compete with them, and I must say, this groovy that we released today with her vocal capabilities, because her vocals is very strong. I don't know.
So you only bring me the groovy today?
Yes, the only groovy today.
You know why you do that, right? So you get another opportunity to come.
Oh, you know, I love to see you. But anyways, back down to the situation. Yes. So me and Victor were planning to do the groovy today. Get it in rotation, you know. Then you bring out the groovy and show them that you can make a perfect stand in the groovy setting. She loves it. I don't know why she loves it, but hey, that's how we're gonna do it.
Before we play, just tell me, how has it been since winning that competition? Performances, what have you gotten to do? How has it been at school?
At school, it's the same old. Pass me in the corridor, it's a hi, hello. I'm still that same shy little girl before going on the stage.
Okay. Performances since the show, since the competition.
She's just giving you quite modest. Modest. I don't like this modest thing, you know, because
listen.
This
Menace, go outside. Menace, hush.
We can't understand.
Menace.
Oh, let me
no.
one last time.
No. When she's done, I will let you. When she's finished, you can finish up.
Please.
Wrap up. No.
Please, okay.
No. All right. Yes, sweetheart. Tell him. You see, next time when you come, leave him outside and come into me, okay? All right. Yes, honey. Go ahead.
Performances. I have been taking it easy until, you know, the power kick in and blow them away. Yeah.
You've been taking it easy? I saw you down in Country Fest. You were not taking it easy? You make me kick off my shoes. And I was supposed to be working.
You have to save some of the power for the big day. Just blow them away unexpectedly.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who were not watching her, you would have just the shy look that she came in with. Just that one sentence, it just went bang, gone, and you saw the Empress came to right there. I like it. Yes, Menace, what you have to say now?
No, she's. I like her humble expressions and how she explain herself.
Take notes.
But she's very super talented. She plays the organ for the church. She plays guitar. She plays bass. She plays drum. I can tell you, talented. She don't like me. Me non-talented. But
you only sing?
Yeah, me only work hard and try like a thing. My horse nice. You understand? And people love my big belly.
Okay, rephrase. You only perform.
Yeah, no, I only perform, but me not talent. You know about that.
Whatever.
But she's super talented, Petra. I must say, it's not generally I meet persons who are just born with the gift.
So when you're not singing, what do you do?
Play piano. Play any instrument.
He say organ now.
She played the organ in church.
Okay.
God save the queen.
We don't sing God Save the Queen in church. You were just watching the wedding. Relax. Yes, darling. Go ahead.
Yes, I played organ, piano, bass, guitar. Guitar itself. I do play the drums.
Clearly, you read music.
I tried sax. That's one thing. I play by ear. I play every instrument by ear, and I've learned
What?
everything I know on my own.
What? So we need to get your music scholarship? What do you want to do when you're done with school?
Yes.
I would continue the art form, singing, and I would also teach. I want to teach music. I just didn't get the opportunity because I wanted to learn French also, and the two is clashed in school.
We have hours after school. You have plenty hours after school. Can come back here. I'm victim for you.
Pan.
No. He teaches music.
Oh, he teaches
Separate
music.
to pan. Yeah,
I
he
want
teaches
to- I want
pan
to
and he
learn
does
pan,
music.
though.
Oh, yes, Lord. Okay, all right. I carry into Harmonite. No, the hell's good. Can't get everything. Sorry. Oh, we just need to get that band started out. Where are you from? All Saints?
Yes, also second.
So clearly we need to get that band started in All Saints. Yeah? So here's what we're going to do. So that Menace doesn't have a heart attack over there. We're going to play, not the second one, the first song that he gave you. We're going to give a listen and get some
I
feedback.
must say the light fits you well, Petra.
Can you please play the
To the
song?
viewing audience out the Facebook,
Can you
you agree with me?
please play the
You agree with me? Oh, she looks the ambiance, the illumination.
I'm feeling a type of way. I'm feeling a type of way. I'm feeling a type of way. When I out on the road, I just get on like a bunny girl. Music in my head, I just get on like an animal. I just want to get some mood, soak up with me in the mood, perfect night and day. I'm feeling a type of way, and I just been sweat because the temperature hot. And I roll into the bass of the speaker box. Nobody comes to me. I'm living young and free every day. I'm feeling that type of way, temperature way up. Tell the DJ play music non-stop. The temperature way up. And the speakers start to bump, bump, bump. And the bass and it bumping. Like I want to wine something. On the speaker it bumping. Only want to wine something, on something, on something. I come to work up my waist and we gonna have us a good time. No leaving till the morning come. We gonna party till morning. Don't care if I'm calling. All the guys just want to have fun. I just been sweat because the temperature hot. And I roll into the bass of the speaker box. Nobody comes to me. I'm living young and free every day. I'm feeling that type of way, temperature way up. Tell the DJ play music non-stop. The temperature way up. And the speakers start to bump, bump, bump. And the bass and it bumping. Like I want to wine something. On the speaker it bumping. Only want to wine something, on something, on something. Carnival is a real night, spend my friend and my real high. We're fetting up all night, that's just what we do. Don't you try to watch me, don't you try to tell me. We young, talented, independent, and we just and I just been sweat because the temperature hot. And I roll into the bass of the speaker box. Nobody comes to me. I'm living young and free every day. I'm feeling that type of way, temperature way up. Tell the DJ play music non-stop. The temperature way up. And the speakers start to bump, bump, bump. And the bass and it bumping. Like I want to wine something. On the speaker it bumping. Only want to wine something, on something, on something.
I'm still dancing, so y'all can say anything.
I see a catch a dance.
I'm still
That's not
dancing.
easy to catch, Petra.
I'm
So
still dancing.
That's one is a good one. That's one a good one.
So I'm going to ask you about the song, but I have to, you said two things before that caught my attention. You've had voice training?
No, I've never had a session of voice training.
So you play music by ear, playing several instruments, and you sing beautifully without voice training. Menace, Menace,
Yes.
when she get the training?
Well, she get the voice training for the first time this year. We're going to Kelly to get the voice training done this year.
Wonderful.
But we must handle the financial part
Yes,
of it
that
sometimes.
costs something, of course.
Yes, and we're working on a tight budget. We even had a sponsor, Rapid Media, help us with the music video this year. So she has the music video for the first time. We went out by my side to the Kids Bay area and did a photo shoot. It was.
I am going to serve notice, right?
Yes.
To you now. Through Menace, right? You see how Menace video and them look sexy. Man, I want a sexy video from you. So tell them. I haven't seen it yet. Hush. I'm putting you on notice. I will come for the video and come for you. All right?
No,
let Menace give you that. Thank you very much.
Oh, Lord,
I have to make sure, because too many of us are making our young people push them further than where they need to be at this point in time. She has a beautiful black voice. It's a beautiful future. Petra. Yes. Just let her soar.
So I must say, just because I'm in the soca genre, that's why she just basically came in and just try a little thing. But I think her talent is surpassed just doing soca, to be honest. So I would never say
in terms of what
to become a soca artist. Honestly.
No, when you say she surpasses doing soca,
no, she's way talented than just saying doing a soca carnival thing or something of that sort. But I am just a little bit more available in the soca genre, so we use that as a stepping stone. So I can just see.
But you do anything.
I could see her doing a Rihanna piece soon from now. And Jay-Z coming on and spotting his talent and say, "Oh, this I need to move for me and make a bigger scene," because this is what it is. So I'm just humbled to be in the presence of a real talent. Kind of me, Petra, you know me talented. But I just want to say big up to my whole team, Victor, Petra, Miss Chambers, Miller over on the side, my sister that usually take headache on me on a regular basis. Eminem Music is definitely moving forward and we're getting everything sorted out. Petra, get to the people so we get the solicitations.
I can't call me out on radio. She's ready. Empress, so you carry on all the way.
And look out for Empress Jumpy coming soon.
Now he brings you to me to go release. He didn't even give me one verse of the Jumpy.
All I can tell you the name. Listen to the name. Girl Power.
No, that impressed me.
All right.
I want to look at this. You're unfair. You're unfair.
I want to come back. And I like to come back in the ambience of down here. I feel down. I have the Wi-Fi password right now because I'm officially for Point FM.
Tabitha, you and I are going to talk after this.
So this is what's going on.
Empress
so back
Honey.
to Empress.
Yes, Empress Honey. So tell me, how are you feeling about this particular song? I like the song. I already ready to put that in my playlist right next to the song from last year. Work the two of them. Yeah. Tell me how you feel.
I'm feeling the heat.
I saw you rocking.
I'm feeling the heat.
So, what are the plans? I know, of course, you're going to put it in rotation on the radio. You're now the defending monarch. So, you have to, and the audience was with you last year. I think everybody was in that spending money mode. I think I'm still paying for that song. Yeah, negative. I'm still paying for that song. Yeah. But, so what are some of the plans that your management team and you have in terms of making sure that as many young people as possible are ready with this song so when you hit the stage?
Well, I think we can do a challenge.
We have a lot of things planned, but simply, I think Victor is going to go crazy in a couple of days, and then she's going to be under pressure, and then she's going to see the facial expression you need to see Petra. When the drilling starts, I feel sorry for her, but hey, such is life.
I see her face.
Yeah.
I see her face.
Right now, she's in the choreography of the dance moves, and I feel sorry for her because me can't do certain things, the left fat people.
If you could do everything, we'd be in trouble.
You know. But just want to say on behalf of the Eminem group, what we're trying to do is expand the culture in terms of soca music. Empress is being one of our first, and we also had China last year. I think she opted out from not doing soca, but we also have Country Fest comes up.
I don't understand. Hold on. So because she's not doing soca, what? You're not working with her?
No, well, basically soca and calypso I do for the most part because those are the parts I can easily market.
I have to talk to you about the calypso part, but go ahead.
No. Go ahead. Back to Empress.
No, go ahead. So Empress, you're in what form now?
I'm in 4th form.
Oh, you're almost done, man. So we really need to get you into the music theoretical side.
Get that scholarship, Petra. Please get that scholarship. Yes. Oh, sorry. I didn't know the mic was on.
Really? Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're now doing how many subjects?
I'm now doing 8 subjects.
You're doing 8 subjects, and you feel pretty comfortable.
Yes, I do.
Okay, all right. So we'll just get that out of it, and I want to make sure that you have that balance, because sometimes mommy, especially mommy, will say if you're not doing good on that side, you can't do this side.
Yes.
So I'm sure you have that warning somewhere there in the back of the bushes.
Yes, I do. Yes.
And so you are keeping up with
Yes.
with those things.
Yes,
those
I am.
things.
Top
All right.
priority.
Okay, good. So that we have that very good balance, because I'm sure Menace will tell you, no, he's into music, but he has his Menace. What you have? Your first degree, your second degree, which one?
Yeah, degree.
Your first degree
Agronomy.
in agronomy.
Yes.
So he got that backup. Should I call it your backup plan? Because the music is now the first. The music can't be the backup anymore.
Oh, the views of Petra, that doesn't review. I love the music. I'm not lying. I love the music. I can't go on it.
Petra, I don't understand it.
Hey, look, I say good uppercut. I like that uppercut there. Uppercut there.
So the good thing is for her, for Empress. Empress, what's your name again?
Hope.
Every time I see you, I see Empress after. Right. So the good thing about Hope is that she says she wants to do music and teach. So I guess she's going to be teaching music.
Yes.
Right, but we have to make sure that we push her beyond just the teaching, because we want to make sure that talent that you are exposing from this very young age, that we can take it to a higher heights. So I'm hoping that we'll see you making 1 or 2 trips for Antigua.
Yes.
Young trips. You get that experience. There's nothing that beats that experience. And I'm sure Menace will find a way to put you on a few stages.
It inspires you a lot, though. Trust me.
To put you on a few stages between now and competition night. I just have one request for you. Every time before you hit the competition stage and you're going to perform this, I like it. It's going to grow on me. But just 2 little line of money. Just two little teeny bitty lines of that other first song, Okay, all right, I'm done with that. All right. So, Menace, tell me, what are the plans?
Well, the plans this year, definitely going to the competition. We're looking forward for that. We're hoping that everything gets
so she'll be entering both the groovy and the jumpy.
That will be a challenge for us in itself in terms of management. So we're looking forward to that. And we are defending a crown. We're not going in for just the first time. We're defending a crown and also looking to take away a crown for some talented individuals, because on any day,
some young people vicious,
any day, you put that jumpy, you put them young folks in the competition where old boys are. You see who's real fed up from who's chicken. That's all I have to say, because the competition is crazy. So that alone in itself,
I like the competition where it is. I think to give the young people that opportunity to not only to grow to harness their talent, but you see them beginning to build their base very early. Because that, I think last year for me, Empress, I was at the show and I was a little concerned, it's soca, yeah, but how would the crowd react? When you were singing in particular, I had to hold myself because I was heading to the front of the stage, and I don't do front of stage. And in the up-tempo section, I think I finally reached the front of the stage. I don't do front of the stage.
Yes.
I don't do front of stage because you could feel the energy from you guys. It was really, really good. So I'm hoping that you'll build on that.
It's in a sense, because I just know that stage, I just do what I have to do. I think the bigger folks like me and the other guys, we take it too much pressure. I think it's maybe the pressure that makes us a little edgy. But then, hey, we can perform. Yeah.
He doesn't pass on any of his stress to you when you're going on stage?
No, not really.
No. I asked her. You're influencing the answer.
She relieves my stress. I would say that. I like when she meet people, because sometimes you can't bang people, some bang people other way. That's all me do. Me say, blow fire. Anyways, down the line. But I must say, Petra, if I was the
Jupiter,
if I was the minister of culture or festivals, when I put the soca monarch for the kids right in the same day, same time, well, look at me earlier, before the big guys. And I said difference.
You can take it up to the right.
You just see the difference.
Remember, this
is... So I get that full crowd there? Oh, my.
All right. So we have 1 minute to wrap up. Empress.
We talk about this time.
We started, no. To be fair, we started almost half an hour late. Technical glitches, so there was nothing that I could do about that. So
I'll be back next week, Wednesday. Because we'll finish all the jumping by next week, Wednesday.
Me. Empress, honey, you have a lot of fans out there, and it's early. We're still in May. We're still at least 12 weeks away from Carnival. But what would you like to tell your fans? We're going to close it with your song. I'm not even going to close it with my theme song. We're closing it with your song today. What would you like to tell your fans?
I love you guys. Thanks for the support, and hang in there. There's lots more in store.
I like that. And Menace?
I must say, Petra, the hair color matches your skin.
About your music.
The color brings out your eyes.
Petra, please read.
And I must say, it balances properly. So.
Go ahead. Tell me what you want to say about music now.
So, Eminem music is definitely back and in full effect. We're already out on the road. I have three songs that are killing the road right now. Bend over number one, Petra, sell it off. Now take it back. The secretary has a problem. She's telling me I'm doing the dividing of the family. And Friends, which is
awesome.
Friends is doing damage on the street.
I'm not talking about Ben over ever again.
So the 3 songs, thanks to God, that they're doing well this year. I hope that I can continue to do more great songs and bring proper music to the streets of Antigua and Barbuda. Petra,
thank you.
Next week, so I'll take the 4:30.
I'll tell you when.
Oh, yeah.